What up, gamers? Spencer here, and welcome back to my reaction to the Theorizer SpongeBob theories. Last time we watched the Mrs. Puff theory, parts 1, 2, 3, which I assume these are parts 2 and 3. And in this video, we'll be watching SpongeBob chocolate theory. So, yeah, I'm curious to see what he'll do for this because I'm sure there might be a reason why this guy loves chocolate a lot. Like maybe this exact character here, like in other episodes, maybe there's signs of him liking chocolate, but I guess we'll find out. Alright guys, here we go to Chocolate Theory. Let's begin.
SpongeBob is the best kids show, seriously, especially the
I
first
agree.
three extremely memorable seasons, but
I still
the
watch it to this day
creators,
sometimes.
whether it be the animators, the writers, the producers, I don't know, they sneak in little specks of continuity, little things that characters
I agree
will
with that.
occasionally remember from previous episodes.
I would say that most of the time, like, there's not that much continuity, but there are some that is like sprinkled here, like every now and then. I think the biggest one for me is with Mrs. Puff, like still dating Mr. Crab.
For a great example of what I mean, you could watch my SpongeBob theories, where I've gone in and studied all character
And then they start to,
occurrences
like,
to
in the recent
discover
seasons,
what's going on inside.
in the recent seasons, they start to reuse some previous characters like Kevin, Bubble Bass, man, geez, they use him a lot. But yeah, they've been reusing like older characters again, like that has like maybe one time in an episode that they were important.
Heads. I've diagnosed Plankton, Patrick, SpongeBob, Squidward, and Mrs. Puff, and I
They
promised
even
you
made
all that I
Fred
would one
into
day try
an
to
official
solve
character.
why Bikini Bottom as a whole has such bizarre characters, but while trying to do this, I have found myself in the amazing position of threading together all of the extras, the extra characters, you know, the models.
Yeah, this one's gonna
I was
be
on the
interesting.
SpongeBob wiki, and the people
I never heard much
contributing
about the
to
extra
it
characters
spent
in
the
this show.
amazingly absurd time connecting all of the extra characters' appearances together.
I wonder if anyone made a theory on Fred, or I guess before that, if they just made a theory on the my leg line.
People on Twitter noticed the interconnected extras too lately, and today I'm here to share the truth I have analyzed behind the insane chocolate screamer. Because his life
Chocolate!
is something of a shock.
Alright, yeah, let's hear it, man. I'm excited. I wanna hear his take on it. I never heard anything about the chocolate guy before, like theories on him, or I guess any other extra character before that has like no name, you know? Alright, here we go.
I'm the Theorizer, and his
Hello.
name is Tom, as that was the name slipped
Oh.
in one episode. He's just an extra.
I remember. I think when I played the Cosmic Shake, I don't remember if he had a name or not, but I'm guessing it was Tom. I don't remember. That was like the first time I've ever heard his name being said.
But all of his appearances, including the ones where his character model is slightly altered, tie together his life story and allow me to diagnose. In his most famous episode, notoriously known as the Chocolate
Yes.
episode, SpongeBob and
I don't know why. I just watched this a couple of times like recently. This specific episode.
Patrick are selling chocolate to
Within, like,
Bikini
the last
Bottom
month.
inhabitants, and their first customer just stares at them and starts screaming, "Chocolate!" before chasing them across town throughout the episode. All he wanted was to buy all of it. According to the wiki and many other more truthful sources, this Tom was also the slightly altered model of the recipient in the
I know that sometimes with some other character models, like the generic extra characters, they sometimes get like just some random recolors. Like with that one Doctor Fish that you always see. Like there's also some like recolors with him. But I know with like Alex's theories, like I think one of the coloring I think suggests that maybe it was like just him wearing like gloves and stuff. But then there was that one thing with Perch Perkins where like I think Patrick or like I guess someone that looks like Patrick like rub something on Perch Perkins' face, and then you can see like the purple smudges on him. So yeah, I'm guessing. Yeah, I thought that was a cool detail. Like I'm not sure if that means that they're just using paint or something to look different.
pizza delivery episode. The fish that screams at SpongeBob when he forgets to bring a drink after suffering through the
Diet Dr.
longest
Kelp.
delivery
Yes.
route possible. This man clearly has a food problem, and the wiki even suggests that he may have OCD, but that's not
From
right.
chocolate?
He's more furious than panicked or anxious. His model varies episode to episode between thin and obese, which probably signals his repeating food addiction and recovery. He's not worried about food.
I don't fully
It's
remember
simply
like
an
every
obsession,
instance of
a
his
frantic
appearance,
obsession to gain more and more pleasurable taste. He's always at the
but
Krusty
I
Krab. He's
assume
had at least 6
there are like some
vastly different
alterations.
jobs over the course of the series. He was in prison once, and he's hung out with his friend
Oh,
Fred
this one's
when he
different.
eats often. He is or was married to Martha Smith, and he's
Oh, look,
lost
there's
it over
Fred.
other foods
He's married to Martha Smith. But yeah, like for me, I think when it comes to stuff like this, like a recolor, like especially back in the past, I mainly just kind of see them as like just them wanting to use like an existing extra model to play as a different character, and that's what I thought maybe this would be over here. But then I thought about that Perch Perkins episode with that one Patrick lookalike. It got
before.
me
Minor
thinking.
instances
Let me
like over a
rewind a bit.
He's always at the Krusty Krab. He's had at least 6 vastly different jobs over the course of the series. He was in
Hmm.
prison once, and he's hung out with his friend Fred when he eats often. He is or was married to Martha Smith, and he's lost it over other
Who's
foods
Martha
before.
Smith?
Minor
Like,
instances like over a potato salad in another episode.
I don't know who that character
and this
is.
isn't just something the wiki believes. Everyone, from fans to those who worked on the show, know all about Tom and the extras. They just aren't the forefront of the show. But what's wrong with him? Clearly he's filthy friggin' rich. He had enough money to fill a wheelbarrow and let SpongeBob and Patrick rent out an entire fancy restaurant.
Oh, you know what?
Probably
That's
from
true.
his many jobs, or perhaps it was stolen to feed his addiction, as we do see him
never
in
thought
jail
about his
once.
money.
But just how rich is this guy, and how far is he willing to go to
Is
get
that
his
Martha?
food? Actually, how far is he willing to go in any direction for anything? He once injured his behind so bad
yeah.
that they
I
stuck
remember
him
this,
in
the
an
iron
iron butt, as they call it. What
Yeah.
kind of mentality does this man have to push his digestive system so far into an iron butt? What is his problem? Let's take a look. He's an addict. He gets money so he can sustain his bizarre food high, and he becomes obsessed and emotionally irritable until his next chowdown. I don't want to say he has some form of bipolar disorder, but honestly, it's completely a possibility. He fits all of the common symptoms when around those who would dare trigger his addiction. His emotions during manic times can lead to such purchases as thousands of dollars worth of chocolate. The wiki presumes that his love interest changes over the course of the show because of its half attention to continuity, but I think his wife, Martha Smith, left him. In fact, the other woman he's with probably did too because of his addiction and the unfortunate repercussions of his economic failure. What this tells me is something rather striking, that perhaps the show's episodes happen out of order. Tom has been a news
Okay.
reporter, a bartender,
see
a
that.
cashier, a dentist, a bus driver, a salesman, a
Like I was
vending
wondering
machine
about that too,
filler.
because I do like whenever I do think about these theories, like I also think about like the order of events. Like if this happened first, then maybe stuff like this can't happen. But yeah, I think with SpongeBob, just because when it comes to continuity, I've always felt like it's kind of like you know a mixed bag of it. But yeah, I can definitely accept that if it's like out of order.
An actor, and
You know what? I thought about like another series too, like Star Wars: The Clone Wars, that animated series. From what I've heard, like they play the episodes like in various seasons in out of order, in out of order. So I wouldn't be surprised if they also did it here too.
many other things. The order doesn't matter because they all point to one goal in his mind.
And that
Food.
is
The chocolate episode is a perfect depiction of all the kinds of people who live in Bikini Bottom, and it might be the gateway to my grand diagnosis theory. As I said earlier, there was a recent Twitter post made by @RisefallNick who pointed out that Nancy Susie Fish has gotten around quite a bit with all the men in Bikini Bottom. It's like
Is
all
that
of the
Nancy?
extras randomly
I never knew her
just
name.
date and marry each other and babysit all the
Oh wait, that's
kids.
the salad. Thanks a lot, pal. I've worked in that potato salad for like 3 days. 3 days.
They each have their own story, so
I think it
once
went like
again,
that.
I'm plagued with Nickelodeon's selective continuity. Tom's
I
addiction
never knew like the other names of these characters. Like the first one, I like when it comes to the extra characters was Fred, and then when I played the Cosmic Shake, I think they gave him a name. I'm guessing it is Tom. And I guess now there's Martha and Nancy. I never knew about their names, if that is their official names.
And rage were probably also what landed him in prison. Point is, while I haven't yet diagnosed the mass
Like, I
bikini
thought they were
bottom
just playing as
problem, I
extras that
have figured out
they're
Tom
always
and the
depicted
fact
as new
that all
characters
of
every
these
time.
extras are either close friends or family. Because the kids are seen
You put
hanging
what
out
in
with
my
all
drink?
kinds of different couples. Fred, Martha, Nancy, Susie, Tom, Sadie, Shuby, all of them connected together. And this is the ultimate key if I want to figure out just what is wrong with Bikini Bottom and its inhabitants, which I do. So, I've now just finished writing this script, and I realized where the wiki got all of the interconnected information from.
Okay.
Apparently, this is amazing. Earlier this year, the official SpongeBob YouTube channel has
Oh
been
my.
putting out a series called Bikini Bottom Mysteries, where they
Interesting.
point out all of their extras and they string together a mock mystery where they state that the extras are all evil in their own way.
What?
They started this series on YouTube right after I began using their lack of continuity against them. It's like they're mocking my hard work or telling people to stop overreacting upon watching their
You know, I do know that the official SpongeBob YouTube does stuff like that. I think recently, because of Halloween, I saw that they did like a Five Nights at Mr. Krabs or at Krabby's,
video on
like some
Tom.
like
They say
extra
nothing about
stuff
what's actually
outside of
wrong
the
with
show
him. They just prove all of the points I've been
to
making
highlight
as
stuff in the
canon.
show.
Even if they're joking, they've just made the mistake of further confirming my points. So what's his diagnosis? They hint that he's a criminal who mimics other people and starts riots.
Whoa.
Indeed, his anger and rage have gotten the better of him. The lengths he'll go to for dietary perfection. What's he hiding? A killer addiction. This series they've created will help with my diagnoses of the extras. Thanks for the canon info, Nickelodeon. The wiki accepts it, so all will. Thomas Smith has been completely diagnosed. Just like that. The chocolate guy. The crazy guy. He is a criminally shady, rich, and multi-occupational bipolar food-addicted maniac who's lost his family due to financial and health instability.
Dang. I also think he's just so mad because he's trying to stay away from junk food, so people reel him in. Okay.
There's my diagnosis of the chocolate guy, for those who still believe that SpongeBob SquarePants lacks even a speck of continuity. He's a part of everything. All of the extras, they are the key. And this video has successfully figured that out. I'm excited to get into the mass Bikini Bottom diagnosis, though I have no clue when I'll do that. I've still got to make follow-ups to my SpongeBob and Squidward theories, as well as the Mr. Krabs and Sandy theories I promised. All will
There's
be
even a
diagnosed.
Sandy theory?
This is my favorite series on the channel. It's so over the top, but not explicitly inaccurate either. I hope you like this shorter theory, but it's just the way it works when diagnosing a character that isn't nearly as primary as Mrs. Puff or Patrick, who require like 3 videos. My next theories will probably be on Karen or Gary. They both have stuff to analyze, but until then, subscribe so you miss none of it. This is only getting better and better, and I can't wait to see what comes later this year. Follow my Twitter at TheTheorizerYT if you want to stay up to date. You'll be the first to know when the videos are coming. Until next time, I'm the Theorizer.
Okay, so I'm guessing that's it. Yeah, so yeah, I think that was pretty interesting. I think for me, the biggest thing was that one YouTube thing that they uploaded in their official channel. Like, if that is to be, considered canon or not. I think it's still good. Like, just, get whatever you can. Because I'm sure, like, maybe, um, for a small character like this, like, maybe it's hard to, like, maybe make a theory of. So, like, getting something like this from the YouTube channel, I think is still worth just checking out and use as evidence. But yeah, it is interesting to see that maybe he does have, like a food problem and all that stuff, and he just gets angry. um, But yeah, when it comes to the whole like recolor though, I am kind of curious about this. Oh, ad. So yeah, that was like my first ad after watching that entire video. Wow. I thought that would happen like in the middle of it. But yeah, that's a very interesting thing to think about, because I'm not sure just how these guys are credited, especially back then, because before Fred became a thing, I do wonder if like in the credits of these episodes that he's featured in, that if he's called Fred or maybe like extra fish number 1 or 2. So I do wonder with like Tom over here if it's also the same with him, but then later on they decided to give him a name like with Tom. But I do wonder though if this is really the same type like Tom Fish or not. Because it could just be a different character. Like that's how I kind of like see these characters that have like recolors. They're just like supposed to be different characters. They're not supposed to be the same, or at least have they're not supposed to have like any continuity, you know? Like for me, the first one I noticed, like when it comes to the extra characters that have continuity, would be Fred, and that's when they gave him like his own episode, um, give him a name, and give him like this recurring gag where he just breaks his legs. um, but yeah, I don't know if like with like more of a more generic fish like this, I'm not sure if they, um, did that before. If this would be the same one, because I don't think they meant to do that. But I don't know. It's still cool to think about. Um, but yeah, it's cool to also think about too. Like, apparently this guy is rich because yeah, he was able to like buy all those chocolate enough to like give SpongeBob and Patrick here to rent out the entire fancy restaurant. So he definitely has that money power. He definitely has that. That's also interesting to think about too. And even like the Iron Butt too, he's able to like afford that. Um, but yeah, that's also interesting to think about too, because I wonder how he got this, if it's also like food related. So I can definitely see him like have some food issues and all that stuff. So yeah, very interesting. I do like this theory a lot. Um, at first I wasn't sure where he was going to go with this because I'm not sure what you can do with this character that has like limited screen time. But yeah, I think I can definitely believe this. Like just stitching this all together. Doing working with what you got. And yeah, this one, I would say, if you do consider this to be like canon, like the YouTube series, then yeah, I think this is also like a very awesome piece of evidence as well. So there you have it, guys. That was the chocolate theory. Next time, we'll be watching Mr. Krabs' pirates theory, which, I feel like makes sense. He does have that pirate, past. I'm guessing what he's going to do here is to go more in depth of like what his past has, like what happened in his past, like more specifically, like an actual story maybe. Because yeah, if we're theorizing that he was a pirate before, I mean, that's already like kind of given in the show. But I'm guessing he'll give like a backstory to Mr. Krabs and like what happened in the past. But yeah, guys, I think that'll be it for now. That's game.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.